Peace, peace. Welcome back to Truth, Trust, and Trajectory with your girl, Shakim B. Today, I'm going to be talking about feeling overwhelmed by battles that you're facing, like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. What if I told you that not every battle is yours to fight? That's right. When you're divinely aligned, God's promise guarantees that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. In today's video, we're diving deep into the truth about spiritual battles and how to recognize when to step back and let God fight for you, and the incredible peace that comes from trusting His plan. If you guys are ready to walk in victory and embrace divine alignment, this message is for you. Before we jump in, please make sure you guys like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you never miss a video. And if this message speaks to you, share it with someone who needs this reminder today. Let's get started. Okay, before we get into this, y'all already know we're going to cleanse the area, cleanse the space. Just make sure that The message is being delivered the way that it needs to be delivered without any interferences. And then you guys are going to hear three loud sounds. That is just me clearing the energy. Okay, let's begin. So I was inspired to do this video just based on my own experiences. And then also I came across something on Facebook and it really heavily resonated and I felt moved to do this video. So I feel like to begin with, I think I need to give you guys a clear understanding of what a spiritual battle is. Because a lot of people, I think, look at reality and the things that we go through on a day-to-day basis at a very surface level, and with very little understanding that there are always two different components to everything. It's duality and polarity, right? It's the law of balance, right? And when I say that, I mean things happen in the physical, but then also in the physical there is the unseen or the occult, right? And then, on the flip side of the coin, there's always also darkness and light. So you cannot have one without the other. So when you see something manifesting in real time in life, just know that something was happening on the back end first in order for that to come into fruition. So a spiritual battle is a conflict that occurs in the unseen realm, affecting our lives, emotions, and decisions. This is not to be convoluted or mixed up with, and I'm gonna give y'all a prime example. You have a person that constantly keeps making poor decisions in their life, and as a byproduct, their life is completely messy. Like it's just a mess, right? And yeah, part of that could be spiritual. But what I'm talking about is I'm talking about strange occurrences that happen when people are trying to reach heightened levels or different levels in life. Okay. I'm going to give you guys a biblical reference. And again, this is not pushing anything towards spirituality or anything towards religion. I do personally believe that the King James Version was not properly translated to give the full, open, and forward truth to the masses. Um, However, there are certain parts of that book or the Bible um, that actually resonate. So I'm speaking from that context, okay? So in Ephesians 6:12, it says, "We do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places." So for my religious people that do avidly read the Bible, right? And reading this and breaking it down, I think this is very, very clear that even in the Bible, they tell you that there will be wars and battles against the physical and the spiritual, right? So the seen and the unseen, right? And again, I can share a couple of different stories if I have time in here from personal experiences as to how things like this have happened. Now, if I was a complete pessimist, right, from my point of view, and just a lot of the things that I've been through in my life and continue to go through, right, I would absolutely say that, everything is against me. And that saying in itself for me is proof that, the spiritual aspect or the spiritual battle in itself does exist. And I have, different sorts of evidence that this is actually a fact. In my reality. It might not be a fact for everybody, but in my reality, I do heavily believe in a spiritual war, a spiritual battle. I do believe that the evil forces or dark forces will often tend to feed on people that have a genuine light or a higher purpose in this life, that are supposed to be, doing God's work or Gaia's work or, the source's work, however you want to refer to the supreme entity. But they do set out dark forces to try to stray you from your path and deter you from, spreading that light and the love and the goodness around the world. So let me ask you guys at home, have you ever felt like your struggles were bigger than what you could see? I want you guys to comment down below and share your experience. And I will go first. Um, there was a time in my life, and it wasn't in the distant past, but it wasn't too much in the present, right? So it was somewhere in between where I felt in my soul that I was called to do something bigger than what I was doing, right? And at the time, I was so unfocused as to what it was that I was supposed to be doing. I was partying, I was drinking, I was ignoring all of the signs from the universe that were trying to push and guide me back onto my path. And if I'm being honest, like I was just completely disobedient. Um, and I paid a toll for it, right? But here's the thing, and I've said this before, and I've had conversations with people about this, and I do feel like it's a thing that when you'll know that you're called to a higher purpose and that you're on the right track when distractions start being thrown at you at unprecedented rates, right? For me, it was, sending someone to me that was disguising themselves as, my wish fulfillment. And this has happened on multiple occasions. Um, it doesn't happen anymore, obviously, because I've decided to distance myself from any sort of relationships and focus on myself and what it is that I'm trying to build here. But, when these distractions were sent to me, there was a part of me that knew deep down that it was a distraction. I definitely was aware that this wasn't sent by spirit, not by source, not by my higher self. It was in fact sent as a distraction to push me off of, my direction, my focus. And the more clear and aware I became of that, it was like the more entangled I found myself in dealing with, situations, circumstances, opportunities, even opportunities. They will come to you disguised as blessings, to distract you from what you're supposed to be doing, right? And these distractions can also look like a lost job or a loss of income, right? Because you're not necessarily aligned with what you're doing, what you're supposed to be doing, right? So you might be doing something completely obsolete of what you're supposed to be doing, and eventually that'll fall apart. And I did actually do a video on that yesterday. Make sure you guys check out my channel so you can get more insight. But with this being said, every battle is not yours to fight. I think spirit often calls us to surrender our battles because spirit is our ultimate defender, right? And for people that have been called to something higher, right, that aren't just existing in a mundane level of being, right? So we're not just out here chasing money, right? We're not just out here, engaging in desires of the flesh. Some of us think higher than that. Some of us are here because we're supposed to be giving back to the collective. We're supposed to be raising the planetary consciousness. And in doing that, you have to be okay with um missing out on things. You have to be okay with, missing out on opportunities, even if it seems like, hey, that's something that seems like fun. I would want to do that. But if that's not what you're aligned, that is not what you're in alignment with, that's not what you're supposed to be doing, then you'll know because it'll cause a great amount of chaos and resistance in your life. And I'm going to give you guys another biblical reference, Exodus 14:14. The Lord will fight with you. You only need to be still. This particular excerpt for me, again, I just did a video on this yesterday, so it's funny that I'm talking about it again today. When I lost my job, I went through a period, and it was very, very, very short. It was a short period. And I'm even still surprised, but I'm not. Um, of fear and anxiety and just not knowing how, or what I was going to do. And once that fear and anxiety subsided, this feeling of calm just washed over me because it's like spirit whispered in my ear, "Will provide. I will provide." And I believed it and I knew it so much so that I started operating and moving in that faith, like in that belief, in that knowing that everything was going to work out, everything was going to be okay. I am going to be in a predicament that I'm not going to have to worry, right? And I say this, but then I also have to add another part to it, right? Because when you walk by faith, that requires a level of work as well. I think too often, and I've seen it before, and it's triggered me to my core with people that are like, oh, money will come, it'll just come to me, it'll just come to me, opportunities will come to me. They will, right? But the other part of that a lot of people conveniently like to leave out because it's like society has glamorized this, oh, manifest this, that, and a third. They've left out the other very important part, which is you have to be able to move with spirit. You have to move with spirit. If you're going to be faithful to spirit, you have to be able to move. When spirit tells you to get your ass up and do something, do it. Don't question it, just do it. And I've experienced this firsthand. Firsthand, I have seen it. I've witnessed what happens when I don't move. I've missed opportunities. So much so to now I am moving with spirit and in trust that I don't know how it's going to happen, but I know it's going to happen. And I know what I have going for me, and I know what I'm working on at this particular time. So everything that I need is going to abundantly flow to me with ease. It's going to be easy because now I'm operating in a frequency of obedience. And I'm gonna give you guys a prime example. I just recently started using Threads. Um, I've had it for a while, never even engaged on it, okay? Never. Last week, I was sitting on my phone, brainstorming, trying to build up my platforms and trying to do some due diligence and research. And Spirit came to me and said, open up Threads. So as I'm scrolling, I'm like interacting. And I'm like, wow, this is kind of like TikTok, except for you have to actually read and you have to actually engage. So there's two components to that. Now I'm learning how to break that short attention span that I gathered off of daily, constantly scrolling on TikTok to actually reading, comprehending, and understanding what people are saying and leveling with people through interaction, with genuine interaction. And before I know it, I have over 500 followers in less than a week. Now, that is just part of the story. As I'm building my platform on Threads, I come across a lady. Her name is Danielle. Danielle, if you watching, hey girl. Um, but I'm meeting up with this lady on Threads, and it's a community of spiritual women that she was trying to put together to build a support system. And I'm like, how funny is that? How funny is it that I literally wrote down in my manifestations and, asked for very specific things from spirit, that I be aligned with my tribe, right? And that I be aligned with the right people that are going to not only help me, with the things that it is that I'm trying to work on, actively build, I can also help other people in one way or another. And I have a genuine sisterhood. Well, we end up messaging back and forth on Instagram. From Threads, we go to Instagram, and she asked for my number, and automatically, because I'm such a I'm not a distrusting person, but I would call myself a skeptic, right? Because I don't necessarily trust people very easily, just based on past experiences. And so I'm starting to learn through spirit to trust my discernment and my intuition. So I ended up just giving her my phone number, and she created a humongous group chat for all of the women that were able to connect through Threads. And when I say, like, I haven't smiled that big and so long, I was just so happy and excited and honored and just grateful to have followed my prompting, my intuition, my notion to move, because that's what I was guided to do. Now, on the flip side of the coin, I end up meeting, now I call her a friend, like she's like my sister. Um, and she actually told me that we were sisters in multiple previous lives. And I'm like, wow, this is actually amazing, because she has a lot of the same visions, a lot of the same goals, a lot of the same aspirations, a lot of the same past life experiences as I do. And not to mention, because I lost my job, I wasn't able to pay for therapy. So what do you know? Spirit puts in my path a therapist, a friend, a sister, the all of these things that I have been wishing and hoping for and affirming for, it just comes to me. And I'm like so grateful. So I want to attribute this to you guys. Studies show that surrendering control and trusting in a higher power can reduce stress and anxiety. And then you guys can check out Psychology Today. There was an article on that. Um, what is one battle you guys have had to surrender to spirit? How did it change your perspective? Let's talk about it in the comments. So now I want to talk to you guys about divine alignment and protection. When you're aligned with spirit, spirit promises to protect and guide you. You just have to believe. You have to trust and have faith. And on the flip side of the coin, one thing that I've come to realize, upon thinking, because I'm a very deep thinker a lot of the times, and a very intrinsic thought came to me by way of the distrust that we often have for ourselves, right? Is one of the key components to the distrust that we then have for everything else. if that makes sense. Like, we live in a time that you not only can you not tell whether something is real or not, right? Which puts a damper on how trusting you are, right? And also, in the same token, a lot of us have gone through some really traumatic experiences, most of them being because we didn't listen to our own intuition or discernment in the first place, right? But nevertheless, not taking away from that, when we continuously have these happenings, these occurrences take place in our lives, it causes a level of distrust in ourselves, right? So now it makes it that much harder to walk with ease by faith because you keep reflecting back on if I would have done this differently, this outcome, it wouldn't have happened. Or, if I had taken this job, then I would be here, there, and everywhere, right? And that's it's a natural it's a natural thought process. It is very natural and it's very normal, right? But one of the things that I always heavily talk about is learning how to trust yourself again. And it's a process, but it's not hard to do. It's really not. Like, building trust with yourself would be the same equivalent. Like, if you look at it from you to somebody else or someone else to you, if you were trying to get someone to trust you, what are some of the things that you're going to do? For me, I would want to show them that I'm capable of showing up for them in the way that they need me to. I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. I'm going to be honest with them. So when I tell them something, it's going to be nothing but the truth. And the same thing applies for when you are building trust with yourself. It is literally no different. And a lot of people have such a hard time um, doing it, like trusting themselves, because I also had the same exact problem. And I'm not saying I trust myself 100%, but I'm somewheres around the 95 to 97 percentile of trusting myself because I'm making sure now that I'm paying attention to my patterns. I'm paying attention to my patterns. I'm paying attention to my triggers. I'm observing my body and making sure that, hey, if something doesn't feel right, then I know it's time to cut this thing out of my life. So Isaiah 54:17 says, no weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue which rises against you in judgment you shall condemn. So when I talk about divine alignment and trust, this ties into it. Isaiah 54:17 ties into it. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Because when you literally start trusting and moving in spirit, nothing can break you. Nothing can hurt you. Nothing. Like, when I tell you nothing, I'm actively watching in real time as people that have tried to give me a hard time in my life while I was already struggling are now having to reap what they sow. And I'm watching this in real time. And even though my physical eyes can't see it, when I dream and when I wake up sometimes, I'm just like, why are you showing me this? But I think it's spirit's way of saying, like, yo, I got you. Don't worry about it. They tried to break you, they tried to destroy you, they tried to tear you down. I'm showing you that you can trust in me. Keep walking with me. So I'm seeing these things with both my physical eyes and my spirit eyes. Um, Research on faith and resilience shows that individuals with strong spiritual beliefs are often reported higher levels of emotional resilience and hope. There was a little fun fact for you guys. Um, I think that there is something that happens when you have a level of belief and trust that things will work out in your life, that your goals, your needs, they will be met. When you start affirming that something belongs to you, like the life that you want, you are worthy and deserving of it, you just naturally feel better. Like, I feel better. I know, like right now, I'm in the process of anticipating. I'm patiently waiting for all of the things to start coming together because I know that I'm doing the work. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm following my prompting. Um, so let me ask you guys, how has your belief helped you feel protected during tough times? Put it down in the comments. So now I want to talk to you guys about recognizing when to step back. Not every fight requires your energy. Sometimes stepping back is an act of faith. And I feel moved to say this. I think that for me, I was conditioned to be my own protector, my defender, the judge, jury, and executioner. And for me, that was a very difficult. I had to break that. I had to. And it gets easier every single day that I practice it. But I'm honestly realizing that when something is sent as an attack on you, whether it is your spiritual well being, your emotional well being, or your physical well being, that sometimes it's sent as a test to see if how you're going to respond or react to something, right? So I'm going to give you guys an example. Just recently, I was talking to a good friend of mine, and it came to my attention that someone has been spreading rumors and bad mouthing me against my children, um, and to anybody that'll open up an ear to listen. And initially, my first thought was to address it and confront this person. But then I thought about it and I sat back and I had to laugh because, for one, to viciously try to tarnish someone's reputation, to try to slander them and defamate their character, you must really, really, really feel low about yourself. And so that was me just giving that person grace, right? Now for two, all everything that's been done wrong to me will be made right. And I know this. But it's very clear that that individual is already suffering. You're already suffering in life. And it's evident in the way that you operate and move and how you feel like you have to tear down another woman so that you can put yourself up here. And that's fine. Again, I let spirit handle my battles for me. I don't have the energy to do that. I just laughed and I moved on, right? Everything does need your attention. You do not have to be the judge, jury, and executioner to make things right with people. And I've even had people, do things to me, whether it was physically putting their hands on me, trying to hurt me, take my life. And I always get the, oh, you should have called the cops. You should have did this. You should have did that. Why didn't you? Because they're going to pay for what they did. They will. They will. I don't have to take any sort of repercussion moves. I don't have to get any revenge because my revenge is going to come by way of my success, right? I'll let spirit handle everything else on the back end. That's how confident I have gotten in knowing that I am highly protected, highly guided, and I don't have to worry about that. Chronicles 20:15 says, "Don't be afraid or discouraged because of the vast army, for the battle is not yours, but it is God's." Again, I don't have to invest energy in trying to get my get back because that is taking away from what I was actually sent here to do. I wasn't sent here to be anybody's judge, jury, or executioner. And that was a long time. I had to break that mindset for a long time. I thought that I had to. I have to stand up for I have to defend myself. And there are times where you will have to open your mouth and you're gonna have to say something, right? But I think the difference is knowing when it's your fight and understanding when, all right, spirit, I'm gonna give that to you. You got me, right? You handle that? All right, bet. So, have you guys ever stepped back from a situation and seen God work in ways you couldn't imagine? I want to hear about it in the comments. So, make sure you guys let me know. All right. So, lastly, I want to give you guys practical steps to trust in spirit. So, the first practical way includes prayer. I just did a video recently about that. I know that all my spiritual community, everybody doesn't pray. That's fine. If you don't, that is just what I do. Meditation. So, what I like to do if I'm stuck in something and I don't know how to or what to move, what I like to do is I'll meditate on it. And I'll give you guys another tip. Before I started actually doing the work, one thing that I would ask, and I would put the intention out into the universe because I didn't have like a lot of friends. I didn't have a huge support system. Excuse me. I don't have like the closest relationship with my family. So I literally at one point felt so alone. It just wasn't funny. I'm just like, man, I have nothing. I got nothing. Um But what I started doing was I would put the intention out to send me messages. So I would ask Spirit, send me messages. Let me know what it is that I need to be doing through my most utilized channels, right? And at the time, it was like TikTok and Facebook. And so what I started finding is as I'm scrolling down my TikTok page, what was popping up on my For You page was messages from different people that I wasn't following. I had no idea. I've never seen them before a day in my life, but it felt like they were talking specifically to me and letting me know that spirit was trying to talk to me through them. And I'm not making this up. It was the craziest, most beautiful, most scariest because I'm like, whoa, am I bugging? Like, am I tweaking here? I don't know what's happening, but I'm here for it, right? I'm gonna go with it. And so I started building like a relationship with myself through these people and learning how to trust myself and trust spirit. The last thing is seeking community support. So it is very, very, very important. And I know this is going to sound a little cliche, woo woo, but I know there are so many spiritual people, the ones that I know at least, have very small circles. A lot of them don't have that support system. A lot of them, when they go through battles, when they go through tribulations in their life, they gotta handle that on the back end. Like they handle it in quiet and there's nobody there. So when they pop out, they gotta pop out with the, you know what I'm saying, the W on their chest. And it's like people would never know that they're going through these things because nobody's checking in on these people. No one is reaching out. No one is building with these people. A lot of my spiritual friends that I have don't have a lot of friends at all. They're literally lone rangers. And there are groups for that. I'm going to tell y'all right now, there's groups for that. This is a platform for that right here. So if you ever need an outlet, I am also here. Prayer and meditation have been scientifically proved to reduce cortisol levels and promote a sense of calm. So I'm going to give you guys a breathing technique that I just learned from a good friend of mine. I actually had her on my podcast a while back, and she's in Israel. So that was dope. I love that. But what she explained to me is when you meditate, a lot of people, myself included, for a very long time, was doing it wrong. And I used to be like, oh, well, why do you have to sit up when you meditate? Blah, 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 this, that, and third, right? It's because it falls into the category of a breathing exercise. Now, a lot of people have added, the mindfulness, which is very important too. But when you are sitting upright, it aligns the spine, right? So your spine is now aligned. And so all of that energy that's flowing through all of those chakras that are running up and down your spine can flow with ease. It's not rigid, right? It's not getting trapped. It's flowing up and down the way that it's supposed to. You want to put your chest out and put your neck down. And what that does is it straightens everything out. So now when you're breathing, the diaphragm is pushing down on the stomach like it's supposed to, and it's forcing that energy down and up. This is something that I had no idea that I was doing wrong. But when she taught me how to do that, I immediately noticed an improvement and a change. And the cortisol levels drop very rapidly when you're breathing properly. And it literally puts your body into a state of relaxation very quickly. And so if you are doing this and comparing it, or not comparing it, but adding it with mindfulness and meditation, you onto something. So I want to ask you guys, what is your go-to scripture, your go-to affirmation, your go-to mantra when you're facing a tough battle? Why don't you guys share down in the comments and let's encourage each other. All right, guys. So that is the end of the episode. As we wrap up today, I want to leave you guys with this reminder. You're not alone in your battles. When you surrender to divine alignment, you step into a place of peace, protection, and purpose. Trust that spirit is fighting for you, and no weapon formed against you shall prosper. If this message resonated with you guys, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment below. And as always, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more empowering content like this. And if you're ready to take the next step in your spiritual journey, I am here to help. As a spiritual coach and intuitive guide, I offer personalized coaching and tarot readings to help you guys navigate life's challenges, gain clarity, and align with your divine purpose. Whether you're seeking guidance, healing, or direction, I'm here to support you every step of the way. Also, make sure you guys visit my website, truthtrustandtrajectory.com. Let me put that up for you. To learn more about my services and book your sessions today, I want to work with you guys to unlock your highest potential and walk in victory. Until next time, remember your battles are not yours to fight alone. Trust the process, trust spirit, and keep moving forward. I will see you guys in the next video. Okay, bye.